Hello, I'm Scott Smith, Superintendent of St. Mary's County Public Schools. We are all looking forward to September and the coming fall. The priority of St. Mary's County Public Schools remains the consistent in-person learning 5 days a week for the entire 180-day school year. Over the last year and a half, our community has worked together as we've been buffeted by the pandemic. But together, our combined effort resulted in limiting the spread of COVID-19 in our schools and quite probably across our community. Our children, our parents, all of us have sacrificed so much to get here, ready to welcome back 18,000 students and over 2,300 employees, and we're going to do that on Monday, August 30th. As most know, this last month, the community spread of COVID-19 has surged in St. Mary's County, moving from what the Centers for Disease Control identified as a low transmission rate to substantial, and now solidly we're in the high community transmission rate. The headlines across the nation spotlight school systems who have had their reopening plans upended by positive COVID-19 cases and large numbers of students and staff required to quarantine for a week or more. To provide consistent in-person learning, we must employ practical, layered, preventative measures to limit student exposure, which will reduce the need to have students quarantine. Let me explain. Last year, with or without masks, the CDC rule for quarantining was any student who was within 6 feet of someone who tested positive for COVID-19 for a cumulative period of 15 minutes or more over a 24-hour period must quarantine for 7 to 10 days. Under this rule, it would be nearly impossible for us to avoid mass student quarantines, even with just a small number of cases. While the CDC rule remains in effect for adults, there is now an exception for school-age students. Under this exception, if all students are masked, any student who is 3 feet or more from a student with COVID-19 will not need to be quarantined. That is, unless they are symptomatic. With this in mind, on August 11th, we announced that the level of transmission across our community will determine our masking requirements. When St. Mary's County is in the high transmission category, masks will be required for all students and staff inside our schools. Now, even with indoor masking required, we will have some times when masks can be removed, such as when presenting or performing or eating or drinking or actively participating in a vigorous sport. When the community spread of COVID-19 declines and we drop out of the high transmission category, we will be able to move from universal mandates to recommendations and ultimately personal choice. We all want to return to normal as quickly as we can. But that depends on our continued collective effort. And I want to thank every adult and child for knowing we are stronger together than apart. We can't wait to see all of our kids on Monday, August 30th, and be welcoming them to the 2021-2022 school year. Thank you for your attention.